Welcome back, my friends in conflict. Are you a people leader who struggles to resolve conflict on your team? Is conflict creating a drag on engagement and productivity and the culture of your team? This video will help you become proficient in identifying opportunities to resolve conflict through the concept of ripeness. And we've all tried to peel a banana that is not quite ripe. When the peel is too green, it doesn't come off very easily, and when you do peel it, you find that the fruit is not quite ready. Conversely, if you wait for the peel to become brown, it might be easier to peel back, but you'll find that the fruit is less than desirable, even mushy. It's too late. Well, conflict is not much different. If you try to resolve a conflict before the parties in the conflict are ready to proceed in that direction, then you may find that you're fighting an uphill battle. You will likely not get the transformative effect that is available to you through conflict resolution. Avoiding a conflict because of the associated discomfort to yourself may also be an issue. It could be a problem because you miss the opportunity to resolve the conflict when it is ripe. As a manager, as an HR practitioner, or even as a senior leader, you may do your best to create a culture in which there is constant engagement and an absence of conflict. But despite your best efforts, conflict will probably still occur and creep in among team members. When you experience this, remember that there is a way to assess the ripeness for some conflict resolution interventions, be that mediation or negotiation or some other process. Conflict ripeness hinges on two main concepts: a mutually hurting stalemate and a perception of there being a way out. A mutually hurting stalemate is when the parties in conflict perceive that the cost of continuing the conflict is greater than trying to resolve it. It typically occurs when neither side can see and achieve a decisive victory. Examples include financial loss, reputational damage, emotional stress, operational inefficiencies, or even potential job loss. The stalemate motivates the parties in the conflict to seek an alternative to the status quo. So when you find that there is a mutually hurting stalemate, the parties need to perceive that there's a way out of that stalemate. They must see a viable path to resolution, be that through, again, mediation, negotiation, or some other conflict resolution process. Now, the parties may find it difficult to perceive that there's a way out because when they're in the midst of the conflict, they're feeling hazy and they're in the fog. It's hard to see clearly what solutions are available. So you have the opportunity as the manager to identify the ripeness of the conflict and suggest some processes for resolution. There are three things that you can do to identify ripeness. You can observe, you can ask, and you can listen. So starting with observation, the better you observe what's happening on your team, the more adept you will become at identifying conflict or when things are not right. The symptoms of conflict are the same hard and soft costs that I describe in one of my other videos. And these are costs that your team is definitely incurring. These include the visible stress and burnout that conflict can cause. When the team is suffering a reduction in morale because of the exhaustion that they are feeling. This can also manifest itself through a reduction in productivity when team goals are being delayed or derailed because of that exhaustion and because of the ongoing stress of the conflict. And third is a cost awareness. When team members speak to you directly or subtly about the exhaustion and the strain on relationships and productivity and working environment that the conflict is causing. So as you observe conflict, you need to be able to ask about it as well. Don't be afraid of asking. Now, I'm not advocating a team-wide discussion about the conflict, but rather that you take one-on-one time with the individuals involved in the conflict, doing check-ins and identifying through open-ended questions how they're feeling about it. You can ask open-ended questions like, what do you think about the current situation? Or how do you feel about working towards a resolution? Dig a little deeper and probe for pain points. Try to identify from the parties in conflict what the greatest cost of the conflict is to them. Ask what they hope to achieve if the conflict is resolved. Finally, you must carefully listen to what the parties in conflict tell you. Identify common objectives like team success or achieving some goals. Are there indications that both parties are willing to give ground on the issues? Now, a quick word about the timing of conflict resolution. Just as you don't want to let the banana get to a point of overripeness where you don't want to consume that fruit, you don't want to let the conflict progress and escalate to the point at which it is causing too much cost. You need to employ conflict resolution techniques, processes, and practices when the conflict is ripe. So, observing, asking, and listening are techniques that you can use to identify and assess the ripeness for conflict, which is the presence of a mutually hurting stalemate and a perception that there's a way out. Ripeness transforms conflict from a seemingly intractable situation to an opportunity for transformation. The parties will become more likely to engage in good faith, looking for solutions that will help them and the team. This increases the chances of a lasting and durable resolution significantly.